I don't think he's weak. He does not seem weak to me. He's got like strong old man vibes. Hey guys, welcome or perhaps welcome back to the channel. My name is Kumiko, but you can just call me Kumi for short, and today we are here to react to episode 19 of Frieren entitled Well Laid Plans. As always, just a quick reminder, I do have Patreon. For just $5, you can get early access to the full uncut versions of my reactions, and it does also help support me as a creator, so if you're curious, go ahead and check that out. The link is down below in the video description. And with that being said, let's go ahead and hop on into the episode. Okay, let's get it. Well laid plans. I'm ready. Got a nice little fire going. That looks cozy. Aww. That's sweet. Look at them. As I said, I think they definitely care about each other. Ooh, himmel snippet. Oh. Yeah. I mean, fair enough. I'm no longer tense. Yep. That is true. That is true. No one party is going to be the same, you know? What works for some people might not work for other people. I like that scene. I like the fact that Aizen had the trembling hands. We've seen that before. I like that that's kind of like a common theme with Aizen is the trembling hands. I also like the way that Aizen, being so honest about how he was feeling, sort of allowed Himmel to also feel comfortable being honest, you know? Like, Himmel was trying to inspire the party, but Aizen just saying, nah, I'm scared, bro, made it so that Himmel was also able to be like, honestly, you know what? Me too. And that's okay. As we've established, being scared is not a bad thing. You can't really be brave unless you have fear, you know? Like, part of bravery is overcoming your fears. So I like that. I also like the fact that in a lot of the flashbacks, like, sometimes there will be like an element that's happening in the current scene incorporated into the flashbacks. And in this case, it was the fire. It's kind of cool. Anyways. That's so cute how she's like holding onto her arm too. Ah, they already have theirs, huh? How did they catch it, I wonder? Oh. Other party's gonna be trying to yeet our still. Oh my gosh, bro. She scares me, but I also love her. Like, I love the expressions on her face and her, like, kind of droopy eyelids, bro. Like, oh, she's interesting. I'm excited to learn more about her. Yeah, they are very fast. This is a much harder task than I initially thought it was going to be. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, yeah, that does make it tricky. Yeah, catching these things is tough, man. Oh. Is it the what? Oh, is it the spell that she used on the big owl thing? Oh. Okay, cool. Okay, yep. Yep. I mean, it was like a magic bird. Okay. A binding spell. Oh. Okay. That doesn't give us a lot of range. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we already, I mean, I guess we didn't like full on freeze one, but I mean, we like caught it in ice. Like we caught it, did we catch its like foot or its like feathers or something in ice and it still escaped, so. To a ton of water. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Frieren's cooking. Frieren's cooking something. Is she perhaps cooking a well-laid plan, might you say? Alright, I'm ready. It's risky. Okay. All the other teams? Oh, okay. I mean, if we have to fight anybody else, it's fine. Oh. It really is different from party to party, huh? Exact same thing that Himmel asked Aizen. Oh? A dry riverbed. Huh. Okay. Okay, ah, interesting. Oh. Okay. Ah, that makes sense. So going to get water's a little risky. Oh. Oh, someone's onto them. Oh! Oh! Oh, nice block. Good block, Fern. She's fast. She's fast. Nice, 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 clean. Good stuff. Oh. Oh, dang. Sharp. Airy? Oh, are we about to have a mage battle? Of course, she's fast. Yep, that's my girl. Yeah, I think we won't. Oh, let's go. Yo. I'm hyped for a mage battle. Oh? Okay. Freezing the lake. Oh, dang, nice job. Okay, so we frozen the lake, so that means that I guess the still are not gonna gather at the lake because one, it's frozen, so they can't drink water, and two, now there's a bunch of mana in it, right? Because her ice probably has mana in it, so they're gonna stay away from the lake, and all of the other parties are gonna be pissed because they were planning to catch one of the stills by the lake. I don't know exactly what they're cooking with this, though. Curious to see. Like, the objective is clearly to make the still stay away from the lake, but I wonder why. Oh, they're gonna try to steal our still. Dang, was she just running across the ice? She's pretty nimble. Oh, okay. Interesting. So was that like a second pond or a second lake? I mean, good luck. That's a lot of ice. Yeah, I don't think the birds are coming back because of the mana. Even if they do melt it. Yeah. Okay, okay. No, we've got something else up our... A well-laid plan. Got something else up our sleeve. Oh. Oh, snap. Okay. Well, sheesh. Aight. Already... He didn't tell that just from the blood? Dang. Oh, yeah, the big owl things. Oh. Dang, okay. Wow. Dang, that's so interesting. So basically, the spell is like, takes advantage of people's goodwill, you know? Because obviously, like, trying to get someone down and maybe give them like a proper burial is a morally good thing. So it basically preys on your moral goodness and goodwill. That's interesting. I know, yeah, this is, I mean... Yeah. I mean, I get it's a first-class mage exam, but... Sucks that people are dying. Yeah. I mean, I guess, but... Okay, I see. Quality of a mage's irrelevance. Symbols of power. Oh, interesting. Ooh. Fall from power and be... Oh, he's interesting. Okay. Ooh. Wow. Magic isn't a noble thing. Ooh, he's saying some interesting stuff. We'll definitely come back to that. I want to know more about Denkin and like why he has that line of thinking. It's very, very interesting. Kind of almost reminds me of like a politician, you know? Like you can have a lot of power in the sense of like perhaps monetary wealth. You know, monetary wealth gives you power in a sense, but you won't be like a successful politician, you know, unless you can, like he said, move people's hearts. Also interesting about what he said about power. So he's saying like, if you're too powerful, people will eventually start to fear you and you will inevitably fall from power, or they will like persecute you because they're afraid of you. Okay, I'm very curious about Denkin now. Dang. As weak as you is perfect for the job. I don't think he's weak. He does not seem weak to me. He's got like strong old man vibes. Smart. Oh. Oh, okay, dang. Oh. Okay, so Denkin. Yeah, Denkin seems like a pretty pretty competent mage for sure. It's interesting that he can detect the fact that there is mana in the water, but she cannot, and it doesn't seem like he can. And he says, I doubt even the person who cast it could detect it. So that's pretty impressive that he can detect it. That little, wow. But a still could sense it. Okay, I see. I see what's going on now. Yep. And that's now the only source of water. Dang. Okay, good plan. Good plan. I'm just gonna take a little nap, guys. Don't worry about me. Okay. Okay, yep, that makes sense. Dang, good plan, dude. That's actually such a good plan because it's a plan that's actually not obvious because as I mentioned, Denkin is the only one who seemed to be able to tell that there was even mana in the water. So that means that any team that figures out what's going on with them, like freezing the lake, is probably gonna go wait by one of those like puddles and not realize that the still can sense the mana and the still is never going to come to one of those puddles, you know, because like probably the rest of the teams probably can't tell that there's mana in that water. That's actually so smart that they just did a little bit in the other sources of water. Oh. Completely surprised. I mean, Frieren does have great control. Dang. I guess that Frieren does have a lot of practice, like, suppressing her mana. Like, obviously not fully, but, you know, she's been doing it for many years now. So I guess it makes sense that she can suppress it so well. Aw, what's that thing? Is that like a reindeer pig dog? That's really cute. Aw, that's a handsome boy. Oh, was that a still sound? I heard like a oh, oh, hello, hello, big boy. Okay. Dang. Patience. Oh! Feathers. Oh! Yo, let's go. Oh, nice! Oh, nice. Let's go. Good job. Nice. Let's go. Oh? Oh. Oh, okay. Bro, wait, how did she get here so fast? Were they already close by? Jubilad. Oh, are those flower petals? Oh, that's cool. That's a cool ability. Oh. She like an earthbender? Get her, Fern. Get her, Fern! Nice. Good blasts. But it's old. Like fighting my grandfather, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, what about it? Ah. It's enough to defeat mages of this era. Dang. Yo. Kind of low-key a roast. Feeling of wrongness. I mean, Frieren is very strong. She is a strong, experienced mage. You're the strongest one here. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Huh. Oh. Northern Magic Core. The remnants of the Demon King's forces. Devoid of character. Huh. Oh, underhanded for the sole purpose of winning. That is really, really interesting because, I mean, it's similar to how we fight demons, right? Like, concealing our mana is also for the purpose of winning. Zoltrak, like the Frieren's version of Zoltrak, is also for the sole purpose of winning, you know? And concealing one's mana the way that Frieren and Fern do, and Flamme, was considered, I mean, it's just like Flamme said, you know, you love magic enough to make a mockery of it. So I guess you could say that's underhanded as well, which is like really, really interesting. Also, I like the fact that she basically called Fern's magic outdated. I feel like it kind of goes to show a couple things. Like, one is that, I guess, specializing in one area, focusing on that one area and refining it can be just as powerful as like new fancy tech, you know what I mean? Like Fern's using old reliable right now, but she's so good at it that I don't think she needs to learn the quote unquote new tech. And I think it also just goes to show like we've talked about genius a couple times in this series. I feel like it also just goes to show Fern's genius, that she is so good with quote unquote like outdated magic. But girl fighting Werble now will probably be killed. You know, I don't think she will be. Okay, dang. A very, very, very well laid plan. That was super intelligent. Like I said, the other teams probably can't detect the mana in the other sources of water. So I bet there's like at least a few other teams sitting there waiting by a puddle, and the still is never gonna come because there is mana in the water that the still can detect. Also very curious about Denkin. I want to go back to Denkin and what he was talking about, because that was a really interesting line of thought, like a couple of interesting thoughts that he stated, so I want to go back to that in just a moment. But also I'm just curious about him in terms of like his skill as a mage, because he seems pretty experienced and pretty powerful. Like I said, you know, he was able to detect mana when the other two weren't, so he seems like a pretty competent guy. Let's go back to what he was talking about, because this was interesting. Okay, so actually, before we get to the Denkin stuff, I want to go back to this scene, because there's something interesting that I noticed here. Okay, so there are those who still dream of the powerful and noble mages who fought the Demon King's forces. This is interesting because one of the mages is literally taking the test, so that's kind of funny. But what I noticed about this scene, actually, is that a still comes and lands on this guy's teapot. And this is especially interesting in hindsight because, like, Frieren literally had to basically fully suppress her mana in order to get the still to come land on her shoulder. And she even said, like, yo, look, if I move, some of the mana leaks out. But this guy, right here, is full on sipping tea. He's moving. And the still is still just, like, planted on the teapot. Like, it hasn't left. So that means that this guy must have insane control of his mana. Like, the fact that he's moving and the mana isn't leaking out enough to make the still leave? Oh my god. Like, this guy, you know, like, oh my god. That means this guy must be really powerful, right? This is the exam proctor, right? So that makes me really curious about him. Like, I'd love to see him in action, because he seems like he's really strong if he can, like suppress his mana enough to make the still want to stay there. That's really interesting. Okay. Anyways, on to Denkin. Damn, they're outdated ideas. Thought you'd be on their side. Quality of a mage is irrelevant. Need only be symbols of power. That is so interesting. That is so fascinating to me. So yeah, he's basically like, you don't even have to be powerful. You don't even have to be strong. I mean, I guess granted you have to be powerful and strong enough to pass the exam to become a first class mage, but you don't really necessarily need to be the most powerful or the strongest. Like, so long as you pass the exam, you need only be a symbol of power. You need only represent the idea of power. Like, you need only be somebody that others can perceive as powerful, I guess, you know? No matter how powerful you are, unless you can control people's hearts, you're as good as powerless. Fascinating idea, fascinating concept. I mean, again, it feels very, like, politicky, you know? Like, you need to be able to, like, power alone isn't enough. You also need influence. You need to be able to influence people's feelings, influence their emotions, influence their hearts in order to, like, kind of get them in your corner and make them want to, like, support you and like vote for you, you know? Like, I'm thinking, this makes me think politics a lot when I read this phrase. It makes me think of a politician or, like, of institutions that are sort of, like, politicized in some way, but not even, like, only politics. I would say, like, institutions in general, there is this notion of, like, needing to once again influence people or sway their hearts. Or this is an interesting one because he actually says control people's hearts, which is it's a much stronger word than just influence or sway people's hearts. Like, control people's hearts is like a pretty powerful phrasing there, so that's also quite interesting. Good as powerless. Seen countless mages far more skilled than myself fall from power and be persecuted. Great power is feared, and rule by fear doesn't last long. So yeah, I mean, this is interesting. It stresses his points, you know? You don't have to be the most skilled. You merely need to be able to control people's hearts, not even sway people's hearts. You need to be able to control people's hearts, because if you don't do that, and I guess if you maybe display too great of a level of power, then you are feared. And as he says, rule by fear doesn't last long, I guess because people eventually turn on you. He said that some mages were persecuted. Magic isn't a noble thing. That's also so interesting to me. I think what he's saying is, like, magic isn't inherently moral, you know? Like, magic is as moral as the person wielding it, you know? So therefore, like, magic isn't a noble thing. Like, it doesn't have any inherent moral value, you know? But that's an interesting take, you know? Like, it can be used for good or it can be used for evil. Magic isn't a noble thing. Fascinating dialogue in this whole section. Someone as weak as you is perfect for the job. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure that Denkin is probably the strongest one in this group because he's the only one that noticed there was mana in the water, so... Beat you with my eyes closed, and you know what? I believe it. I believe it. Any time the character has a monocle, you can bet they're gonna be a badass, so... Very interested in Denkin. What a fascinating character. I also really liked this scene. It's once again, it's just cool, like, just this subtle detail of Frieren, like, waving her hand, and they can't sense it, which is crazy. Frieren's like, look, mana leaks out when I do this, and they're like, I don't sense anything. Just kind of, is a good way of showing you, kind of reminding you once more, like, Frieren is a badass mage. Like, she is very, very good at controlling her mana. Like, the fact that these two can't even tell that mana is leaking out when she does that is very, very impressive. And I mean, also, I feel like, I mean, she had to move a little bit in order to catch the still, in order to cast that spell. So once again, just emphasizes what a great and incredible mage she is in order to be able to do that. I'm trying to find the scene where she catches the still a little bit further back here. Yeah, right here. I mean, she had to make, like, some small gesture, some small movement in order to capture it, so I mean, that's pretty impressive, you know? She was able to to keep enough mana from leaking out that the still didn't leave. So yeah, just great way to show Frieren's skill as a mage in that scene. But also, I feel like this scene once again just emphasizes how perceptive Denkin is. Because I mean, like, this was such a quick spell. It was just like a moment. And Denkin clocked it immediately. Like, okay, right here. And I also like how Frieren sensed that they sensed her, you know? It's like there's so many layers to this, but like it's crazy how Denkin's just like found him, you know? I also just want to go back to this scene one more time because as I said, I mean I appreciate like it's cool to see this element in the flashback, you know, we see the fire and then we see the flashback. She remembers talking with her. And then we have like a similar kind of fire pit, and this kind of mirrors the way the episode started with Frieren staring at the fire, you know. And again, we have the repetition of Aizen and the shaking hands. Wait, what? You're scared? I like this. I feel like it actually kind of highlights Aizen's strength, you know? Aizen is a character who is very honest, and I feel like that honesty creates opportunity for other people to be honest, you know? Like, Himmel goes, oh, I see. Well, I wasn't expecting you to say that, but now that you say it, like, I'm scared too, you know? He's creating space for somebody else to be able to relate to him and be honest with their own emotions as well, and that's something that I really appreciate in Aizen's character is his straightforwardness. What kind of conversation is this? And inspire you, but doesn't seem to have worked. And that's nice. I feel like sometimes it's nice as well to know that you're not the only one feeling a certain way. So I like the way that Himmel and Aizen kind of relate to each other in this scene. And I also like what Hyder says, you know, Himmel, just be yourself. You don't have to imitate any other adventurers or like inspire us in any specific way because no one's going to be the exact same. You know, what works for one party might not work for another party. So this is kind of cool. Just be you. Yeah. And then this idea of like things differing from party to party is sort of stressed once again later when Kane asks Lavigne, like, are you scared? You know, it's kind of like mirrors the Himmel Aizen interaction, but we see how different it is. So that's kind of cool. I don't remember what part that was. I genuinely would not be able to find it, but I'm pretty sure I pointed it out during the reaction. So let's see if there was, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to touch on. I think that was it. I think most of the other stuff we kind of talked about during the episode. So yeah, I think that was everything. But once again, another great episode of Frieren. I mean, so far there has not been a bad episode of Frieren, and the quality of the writing makes me think that there is not going to be a bad episode of Frieren. So once again, great episode. I enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I hope that you guys enjoyed the reaction as well. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye! Alrighty, it is now time for our Legend tier shoutouts. So, shout out to Abel Dark Rider, Savior of Nerd, and Gabriel Weiss. Thank you all so much for being absolute freaking legends. I really do appreciate it. And on to the rest of the shoutouts.